Hello and welcome to another episode of What If It's Cool, the show where we talk about anything and everything that is cool in the world today. I have never won a championship and probably never will, Daniel Paul Crow. And on this episode, I have a sit-down interview with the true champion, Cass Stone. We're reminisce about his early days in PCW, as well as what he's doing now, and how he's become a trainer at the PCW Academy. So sit back, relax, and enjoy what it takes to be a true champion with Cass Stone.
Thank you so much for being part of the show. I know that you are busy because we've had to just do this on last minute, so I do appreciate everything. I'm gonna fanboy a little bit here because I have seen you grow. Because the first time I saw you was back in 2014, and the first match I ever saw you in was you versus Mark Cage in a hardcore match, and you gave Mark a very, very nasty scar on his back from the kendo stick. I don't know if you remember that match.
Yeah. No, do you know what? I actually remember that match quite well because that was kind of one of Mark's big matches at the time because he was heading into his feud with Daniel Swagger. So that was a very big match for him as well. And it's funny because backstage he comes up to me and he's like, it was the scariest moment of my life because I was still a kid at this point, right? And Mark comes up to me and he grabs me by the throat. Like no word of a lie here. Like me and him were kind of friends at this point. We weren't like best of friends then, but he comes up, grabs me by the throat, and he's like, "When we're out there, do not up." And I was like, "All right." So I'm terrified for my life. This is like 2 minutes before going out, and I'm like, "Holy like this guy's for real." Like,
oh my god!
And then, yeah, I know. Like it, but you know, it helped set him up onto the path that he was on. He saw the way I handled myself inside there, and you know, he helped elevate me too. So it was a pretty big match for both of us. But not only did I get him on the back with the kendo stick, the first time I hit him with the kendo stick is he's thrown me out of the ring. He rolls to the outside and he's behind me. And I pull the kendo stick from under the ring and I turn around and swing at him. This is meant to get him in the gut. Yeah. I actually get him across the crotch and he had a massive kendo stick mark right across there. Yeah, and that was that. And yeah, he got a couple of receipts in for that one too.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to go through. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go through a lot of posts, but I'm pretty sure I posted that on Instagram on my personal.
Yeah, no,
I'll try and find it. I'll send it to you later.
Yeah, because I remember your post coming through quite early. As you said, you followed me for quite some time, and then so when your podcast started coming up, I was like, oh, who's this guy? And then like kind of started connecting dots, and I was like, oh, this guy's been around for ages. But no, yeah. So that is a match I very much remember.
Yeah, I just remember two things about that. One, I was like instantly became a fan of you and Mark's. But two, how incredibly hot that night was because it was that was a sweatbox.
Yeah, we've just had unfortunate venues in where our air conditioning just can't align for us. Like even at Seek, we've got that one nice cool area where the aircon actually is, but then again you got the side closest to backstage, and that's just it just gets real warm there. But it was the same down in Hallam. That was a nightmare.
I will say this though. I do miss that little shed. That was very, very intimate, and I don't know. It just it has a special place in my heart. That place. Went there a couple of times.
Oh, same here, man. Like I unfortunately didn't get to see that one grow. Like I'd come in after they had moved to that venue, and it was so like you said, it was a very intimate space, and it was really cool to be able to completely connect with the crowd because you're right there. And that was a big change when it came to Seek. Was we built an arena almost, like it's grandstand seating. And it kind of took away that element. But when I talk to people now that have never seen that Hallam venue, and we do shows at Seek, and then when we moved on to Grandstand, they didn't Grand Slam. Sorry, they didn't like Grand Slam because of how far away that was in a sense. Like they didn't have that intimate vibe. So the people that have come through Seek find that the intimate vibe rather than when we go out on the road from there. So yeah, that's a different way of looking at it.
Fair enough. Now, I've seen you grow, but I want to get a bit get to know you a little bit more. When did you actually start training, and who trained you?
Yeah, so I started back in 2013 was my first training session in July. So we're actually coming up on 10 years
Wow.
this year. So that's pretty exciting. I didn't think I'd be doing it for this long ever. Like when I started, I was making wrestling rings in my backyard, and Dad hated me because he would have to mow the lawn around it, and he was like, "It's just going to be another hobby, just another hobby," and then turned out to be this. But no, I was got the privilege to train under quite a few people when I first started. Like back then, the academy had guys like Nash taking training, Anthony Dangerfield, Mark Cage, um, and Gabriel Wolf was one of our trainers as well then. And then, but my like the two guys that have, oh, the three actually that I would say influenced my wrestling career the most were Anthony Dangerfield, Tricky, and Mark Cage when it came to training. They were their knowledge for wrestling is second to none.
And you've now taken on a more trainer role now at PCW, correct?
Yes, yes, I'm one of the coaches down there now. Yeah.
How does that feel now, not knowing that you get on full swing of being a trainee and now a star, and then now you're giving back? How does that feel for you?
Yeah, it's honestly awesome. Like, because when I started out, my goal was obviously to make it, to get signed, do what I can to be the best professional wrestler there is. And when we started building the Southeastern Entertainment Centre, it was a really like you could feel this turn in the wrestling community at the time. And then like as we're getting deeper into building Seek was like AEW was starting to come in, and it's like, man, wrestling is popping off again. Like people, like outsiders are coming back in and being like, "Holy crap, wrestling's cool!" Like,
Mm.
and that was kind of like the time that I started transitioning into that coaching role. And it's my goal, like now, is to really help build the Australian community and really help uplift what we have here, and hopefully get us to a point where we can get a TV deal somewhere here in Australia and have guys locally wrestling as a job almost, so it's very cool to be a part of helping grow the next set of talent.
Mm. That's really
Mm.
good to hear. When did you debut, and how did that first match go?
Debut was in I'm gonna say it was at the end of that 2013 year in November. That was it was just a battle royale, so there's not really much to say on it. We came out and it was
Starting to see a trend here with everyone who's been in PCW, that they start off with battle
it's
royale.
yeah, it's the way we run things, man. It's the when you start at the academy, it's you train, and then there's this show called PCW Destiny, and that's kind of like our NXT takeover, so to speak. That's the show you want to get on. You're training to get towards. You've got the ladder match there for the senior guys of the Slam card, and then you got the battle royale, and that's kind of where everyone starts off, and that's where we kind of start to feel out. All right, this guy knows what he's doing in front of a crowd. This guy needs to take a bit more training here and there. But yeah, that was the battle royale. I came out in some camo shorts and a black t-shirt, nothing exciting.
Mm.
But my first actual match was when a battle royale, another battle royale, and then I had a singles match with Tone Philippe, and it actually turned out to be the main event of the show as well.
Oh, right.
I think it pissed a lot of people off because it was my first actual match. But I was a draw. I'd bring 50 family members every show, and I've got a big family, so they would turn up in style, making a lot of noise for me. And that's what wrestling is, man. You got to be a draw, and I was that. So they put me in the main event against Tone Philippe. I did a double axe handle from the top rope to the outside and split my
Wow.
head open.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was a ripping first match, and it was great because I went out after the show to my mum, and I'm like, "Oh, we're gonna go to hospital," and she's like, "Why?" I was like, "Did you not see the blood pouring down my face?" And she's like, "Is that real?" She's like, I thought that was. I was like, "No, mum, I was literally like, we're gonna go. I'm gonna go get my head glued." Like, so yeah, that was an experience and a half as well for my parents coming down there.
Oh my God, I love your mum. Just that line. Is that real? Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
yeah.
So
They knew the physicality of it, but yeah, They didn't believe that part.
Right. So did they know the business that well, what you guys do? I don't want to expose it for a lot of people. They know.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
no, yeah, they know, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, so
I'm sort of a traditionalist. I want to keep things a little bit more kayfabe. I'm not.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm with you, man. Like, there's still people out there, you know. So, you don't want to expose it for people. So,
Mm. Oh well, there's one thing that's just come about this, and it was the first memory the moment you said Destiny, and I hated you for this for so long, and then unfortunately I started doing it too when you used to do that dab.
oh yes, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
I will never forget. Now I'm probably going to forget who it was because I do remember it
yep,
was Ryan Rapid,
yep,
Luke Saber,
yep,
Anthony Walker. I thought was
yep,
it, sorry, Andrew Walker. Sorry.
and yeah, yeah, yep.
Is it Anthony or
I
Andrew?
think there was one more.
Yeah,
Andy, Yeah,
Andy.
there's one more.
Wasn't
It was the one
Dangerfield.
that he's the
Oh,
one that I reckon. I think I know what you're talking about. He's the one that actually did it.
yep.
He's probably one of my biggest rivalries too.
Oh my god. Oh, who is it now? Nah, I can't think of it. But
Yeah.
the oh wait, yes, hang on. Nate Cross.
Yes, there it
Yes,
is. Yeah,
there we
that's
go.
the one.
There we go.
Yeah.
When you guys do it in the middle of the ring, and then you were just like, and then they all did it. You ran up to the front.
Yeah.
Nate spears you into the stage. Classic. And
That there, I could never think of a better moment in my wrestling career. Like, that was so cool. Like, it sucked. It sucked, but that was another funny moment with my mum. So I've got I was obviously bad at the time, and so a lot of people hated me and they hated the dab, and so I kept doing it, obviously. And we've gone through, and my mum's over on the grandstand closest to backstage, and so we go through on the other side. There's this fan like standing over me, like, "Yeah, you deserve to be in there. That's your coffin. Go die in there." Like, saying all this. Mum comes running down because she's like, "Holy crap, my son's hurt!" Like, they
I
come
think
running down,
I think I
and
remember this. I remember seeing someone walk
yeah,
on down. I didn't know who it was though.
she's standing over, she's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" While this person's standing up, "Die in there. That's your hole." Yeah, so Mum's had a lot of experiences when it comes to wrestling.
Oh my god. Jeez.
Yeah, but that moment was, yeah, surreal. Like, and the crowd reaction off it, because no one saw it coming. It was the first time anything had happened with the stage at PCW as well. So yeah, it was cool, and it hurt a lot. I remember that was that wasn't my first. That was my second Destiny ladder match, and they're never fun. You walk out
No.
sore every single time.
No. Is that actually available on the PCW Network? Because that's a match I would love to see
that
again.
one is.
Okay,
Yeah, that
good.
one is on the PCW Network. Yeah,
Yeah, link will be in the description on that one, guys, because you definitely need to watch that match.
Yeah, that was something special, that one, and I know they're slowly getting through our catalog and uploading a whole lot more of our older stuff as they get through there on the PCW Network. So it's good. It's starting to get a lot more content on there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely worth checking out. How much is it per month? Yeah, Cass.
I'm pretty sure I don't know if it's risen like recently, but from what I remember, it was like $10.99 Australian. I think it's been a while since I've had to check that one, but yeah, around that mark.
Yeah. Well, links all in the description, guys, if you want to check it out, because definitely support PCW and Australian wrestling, because they've got some great content out there. So definitely check it out. Now, I want to take you back. So obviously we went a little bit too fast.
Yeah,
but I had to bring it up because it was the first memory that came in the moment you said Destiny.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be flat honest. When you were the Mozzie, I was not really a big fan of the character. I've loved your work.
Yeah.
I thought your work was fantastic. Just the character, not so much. And I remember kept saying to everyone who was around me, like, you're like, "Oh, he's so great." I said, "Yeah, but his mic work, his character, not that great." Yeah. And I said, "I bet you any money he'll be great as a heel." And they went, "They'll never turn him heel. Look how over he is." I said, imagine how over he'll be if he was a heel.
Yeah.
Not one person believed me, right? And as I said that out loud, the next week you turned heel.
Oh, there
right?
you go.
So I don't
Yeah.
want to say that I'm the catalyst of that. It
That
just, you know,
yeah.
it just happened. I started questioning myself because like the heel turn was like, oh, it's all right, you know. Then you drop a few weeks later, true champion.
Mm.
Can I just say one of my best friends, Addy, and Addy, if you're listening, I blame me for this one. He loved you so much, right? That the moment you kept chanting "True Champion" every time we go out, hey Dan, True Champion, Dan, True Champion. Will you shut up? Like seriously, I'm over it, man. As he's from New Zealand, and I don't know if it's a New Zealand thing, but champion is it? I don't know.
Well, look, I was just, you know, we tried setting up this podcast earlier, but I was in New Zealand at the time,
Yeah.
And we're driving past all these places, and every town you go to, it's like home of champions. And then the next town, the king of the champions. So maybe it is a New Zealand thing, you know?
It must be. But what made the transition complete for me was your entrance music, Champion by Scribe.
Yeah, that was awesome to have that. And you know, it was at a time where we could have any music, and we didn't need that royalty free type of line. And so when we did the switch, it was very hard because we obviously were starting to stream on the network. We are trying to do Facebook Lives as well, and the moment anyone has licensed music, it would rip the stream straight off. So
Yeah.
it was a big change that we had to take on. And I remember at the time I was discussing with Tricky. I was like, what am I going to do, man? Like this music's really made it for me. Like this has been the song that's, you know, helped drive the character as well. And so we're scrolling through a website called Audio Jungle, which gets you all your free royalty free music and beats, and just none of it was like connecting with me, and or like hitting that spot that Champion by Scribe did, until I went and got my haircut at the place I always get my haircut. I've got my guy Thomas, who hooks me up with a haircut all the time. And I was sitting down with him, and I'm like, man, do you know like any rappers? Like I need a rap song for my entrance. And it turns out I got a cousin of mine that's look, when it comes to New Zealand families, there's a lot of cousins. Like everyone's just a cousin. Like,
mate, that's
cousin,
the
second
same
cousin,
thing with
cousin.
Filipinos family, mates. We're exactly the same.
We're all family, you know. So I'll just say he's my cousin, and that's when I teed up with Mitchie, and I was like, man, this is my current song. This is what I need. I sent him Chris Hero's old song, like Who's Your Hero? Chris Hero, that one. And yeah, I was like, I need something. And no, I was super happy when he brought out what he did as well for me. So, but it was hard pushing away from that Scribe song. And Tricky and I even tried contacting him to get a deal where we could use the song. But it turned out it was owned by Warner Brothers, so there's no chance we're getting that license for it. But no, that was a great song for the character at the time. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to be a mark at the moment now. I will admit, that was my ringtone for a good 2 years because I friggin' loved it that much.
Yeah, no, it was good, and that was really where the like true champion kind of came from, because when I'd done the turn, we're like, we need new music. Like I can't come out to Here Comes the Boom anymore, and it was like that's just too babyface, and so me and Tricky were kind of going through stuff, and he ended up finding that song Champion by Scribe, and because he knows I like my rap music, and so he sent it to me, and it like started playing, and I was like, and he, like at the start he's got that true champ. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm thinking my music, but no, he's got true.
Dun, 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 dun,
yeah. And then he says true champion somewhere in there, and we're passing songs around with Rowdy, and Rowdy's like, why don't we just call you the true champion? And I was like, I like that. And I was like, you know what? I like instantly I had a t-shirt design. I was like, Stone True Champion, like that. And just as simple as that. And I was like, I like that. And then so he was like, but if we're going to do that, you need to have a reason why you're the true champion. Like, why you're the true champion? So they threw it back to me, and they're like, we're not just going to give you this gimmick and you find out, you know, you just use it, you know? They're like, we want you to give a reasoning behind it. And so it was really cool to to be able to be given those reins to be like, oh, I've got to make something of this, otherwise they're not going forward with it.
Mm.
And then so yeah, I just took a deep dive in, and I was like, look, like that's genuinely who I believe I am. I believe I'm a true champion, you know,
Yeah.
and whether I've got the titles or not, I carry it in here and up here, and you know, I've grown up watching champions like the Melbourne Storm, and you know when they're down and out, they had a massive salary cap breach at one point.
Yeah, I'll never
And
forget that. That was a horrible time to be a Storm fan.
yeah, the moment that lives with me forever with that though was they did this press conference the day after it or a couple of days after it, and like hearing the stories that came out from it was like, you know, Craig Bellamy just got them all in a room and said, look, this is where we're at. We're going to be playing rugby league for absolutely nothing pretty much, but we have fans out there and we want to deliver for them. We you know, we need to build our brand back up, and they walked out as a team for this press conference, and it's like that's the true champion spirit, you know, that mentality to be like, no matter how down you are, you get back up and you keep walking through. And I've really carried that throughout my wrestling career too, you know, like whether people are counting me out because I'm not carrying a championship anymore, and they're like, oh, here he is, he's going stale again. But nah, I've carried myself, and you know,
who in their rightful mind said that you go stale? I mean,
That-
I don't attend PCW shows as regularly as I used to, but I don't think you've ever missed a beat. I like to hear somebody, and you know, comment in the comments, guys, because I really want to know who's saying this, because you've never missed a beat, in my opinion, ever.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. You know, I do my best to, you know, try keep up with the times as well. Like, far out, JJ Furno's a hell of a talent, and keeping up with that guy is a hell of a feat. And yeah, he's killing it at the moment. So I try and do my best. Like as I said, 10 years now. It's not as old as some guys like Tricky, but man, like it takes a toll on you, and so trying to keep up with the current things that are happening in the wrestling community as well is tough, and constantly evolving. Like I've had that true champion name for quite some time now, and constantly evolving that as well is a tough feat. But I do my best, man. And as I said, like whether I'm carrying championships or not, in here and up here, I'm the true champion to myself. So I'll always carry that name with pride.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, you always keep your head up, man, because like I said, and this is not me kissing your ass or anything. Generally, I do believe that you've never misstepped, and I always think that you are just an absolute fucking star. And
yeah, thanks, man. I
can't speak highly enough of you, man. We're almost running out of time, but I want to get a couple more questions out before we get to
the no worries. Let's smash them out.
You got all the gold at one point.
Yeah.
What was your mentality on that, and how good did that feel?
Yeah, man, like that was the moment, you know, where it was like, holy crap, like this is me being the true champion. I'm carrying the tag team championships by myself. I got the Ignition Championship, the Slam Championship, and it was just that national championship that managed to slip away. But that was it's crazy to think that I was able to help carry the company through that period of, we really weren't developing a whole lot of slam talent, and so it was a tough thing for the company at that time. And it was like, you know, I was like, I'll come in, true champion. I'll take that championship. Like, you know, Lockie opened up an open challenge, and I went out there and was the better man at the end of the day. But no, it was crazy to be able to hold that much gold at the time. You know, I didn't think it would ever be able to happen, and it was able to help really solidify that name of the true champion.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. There was an image of you when you were holding all of it, and I wish I made this. I don't know if anyone ever made it, but have you ever seen that photo of Kurt Angle having all the TNA gold?
Oh, I feel like I have. Like I can't picture it right now, but I think I have seen that one. Yeah.
And the moment you shared that photo, I went, "That's that. Like, he's the Kurt Angle of PCW." That's awesome. One thing I've always wanted to ask you this. Now, you were on the dark match with Nate Cross in the relaunch of World Series Wrestling. Firstly, how honored were you to be part of that? But why haven't we seen you back in WSW?
Yeah, so that was like real cool, because it was crazy to be backstage. I can't 100% remember who was actually on that show at the time, but I remember there was Austin Aries, because he was actually the reason Nate and I got on that show.
Mm.
So he did a wrestling seminar beforehand, and it was kind of like whoever he sees stands out the most, they're the guys that are going to get booked on the show. Um,
Ah.
and so I remember Danny Psycho was in that class as well, and he was like, "Well, I like this guy because he's massive, like he's jacked. He's got that wrestler look." But Psycho was already on the show,
Yeah.
so yeah. And then we were the two that stood out the most to him, and so that was really cool, like to get that privilege just to go backstage and hang with those guys like Austin Aries. There was X Pac back there. Trying to remember. I can't remember really who else was on there because we've done so many now with.
Headbangers, Ricochet,
Yep.
Zack Sabre
Yeah.
Jr., Tessa
It was,
Blanchard. Oh,
yeah,
I
it
can't
was
remember what
another
else.
massive card from memory. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was crazy to be on there and have that moment. And then so we were also on the next one. It was me, Nate Cross, and Ryan Rapid. We had a triple threat match.
Ah.
Um, yeah, and that was another cool one because I got to speak to Brian Cage about, like, I was like, man, how do we do this? Like, we are the dark match, and but we want to show what we've got. And he's like, he's like, look, at the end of the day, he's like, we're here for 2 nights. He's like, that's it. Then we leave and we come back another time. He's like, you guys are going to be here week in, week out doing your shows at this venue. And he's like, go out there and like make a name for yourself. Like do everything. Like, because I've always been of that the zone of, you match one or you're a dark match, you're there to get the crowd warmed up and ready for a show.
Yeah.
You're not there to do the high spots and do all this type of stuff. And yeah, so he was just like, man, go out there and do everything you've got. Like, show the crowd why they should come back and watch you guys wrestle again. But I don't know why I haven't been on one since to hard sell. But I think it just goes back to what Adrian was saying on your podcast. He isn't really watching the local scene as much as I think he should be. I think these are great opportunities to have international guys go up against, like us local talent.
Mm.
I think it would be, I was looking at TJP out there and I was like, far out, he would be a great matchup with Emin the Kid,
Mm.
Guys like Bandito going up against JJ Ferner. Like, that would be insane. Ryan Rapid in there. Yeah, like, we've got so much talent down at PCW too that it is just missing out on these type of shows. And I think it would really help benefit the wrestling scene in Australia as a whole if we were able to get Melbourne guys on these shows as well. So, but it's just one of those things. Again, like, I want to help build the Australian wrestling community. So we're doing everything down at PCW Weekend to help build up our company as a whole. And maybe we won't need World Series wrestling, and we'll be able to have our World Series wrestling type of thing. So that's the goal. That's the goal here down at PCW. We'll bring internationals in to come watch us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, on social media, I don't know if you watched it, seen this, but my Triple G grandfather, Adam Crow, has been calling himself the true champion for the last few weeks because he's now the official breakout champion.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about this, and what do you plan on doing with it?
Yeah, look, I'll more than happily take that away from him. I'll show him who the real true champion is. It is Castone, 110%. I've carried it for a long time, and as I said, no matter what, whoever's challenging me in here and up here, I've got that true champion title. So if anyone wants to step to my name, I'll defend it with pride.
You heard it here first here, Grandpa. Castone is challenging you and calling you out. So, let's see. All right. So we're almost at the end. I need to ask these type of questions here. What if it's cool? What is something that you find cool that nobody else does?
Look, I know there's a lot of people that do find it cool, but within our wrestling community at PCW, and I know besides Lucas Daniels, I'm the only other person that do find them cool, and that's definitely my shoe collection. And yeah, I've got. You saw that one coming, didn't you?
It was either shoes or hats, and I was like, "Oh God!"
Yeah, so the hats definitely were a big one back in the day, but then I ended up finding a barber that can cut. It's not looking too fresh right now, but I found a barber that can cut my hair pretty good. So I started to fade out of the hats. And looking at my shoe collection now, I've got about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. And it just goes on and on.
Oh fuck me, jeez.
Yeah,
You
no,
young kids and your shoe collection with hats.
yeah, man, I
God.
just gotta, yeah, I rock up to every show, making sure I'm the best looking there, So, my Jordan collection's on point. I try and keep it as fresh as I can, and yeah.
Fair enough. We got Risk coming up for for PCW. What's going to happen
Yeah,
in there?
yeah, so that's coming up on the 18th of March. Now, unfortunately, at the moment, Lucas Daniels and myself are not scheduled to have a contest here, as Lucas Daniels is not medically cleared. And look, we will be facing BD at some point, just not right now. He's not medically cleared, and it's not safe for Lucas Daniels to wrestle at this point in time.
Of course.
Uh, so, but there is some other huge matches coming up on PCW Risk. We have James Sly taking on JJ Furno, and I know James Sly inside and outside of wrestling, and he wants that Ignition Championship more than anything. And so I think he's going to stop at nothing to take out JJ Furno and walk out PCW Ignition Champion.
Well, he hasn't shut up about it on
also,
social media yet, so of course he wants it.
Man, that guy loves his social media, and he loves promoting himself, and so he's going to do everything he can to be the guy carrying that championship.
I love you, James,
and,
but I see it every day you're putting something on.
And he is a guy to promote every single day, isn't he? Like, it isn't even like doesn't give it a break at all. No, he goes full force too. So
yeah, he's
look,
fantastic.
At least it's someone. Yeah, at least it's someone that's willing to carry the company and put it on his back and say, "Hey, I'm going to promote you guys. Come on, get behind me."
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Then we have Ryan Rapid taking on Barry O'Leary. This is going to be an instant classic. If you've ever seen Ryan Rapid wrestle, he's phenomenal. And then Barry O'Leary is just coming through the ranks real quick at the moment. And they've been at war over the last couple of weeks, and they finally get to settle the score here at PCW Risk. So that's going to be a hectic matchup. But then, speaking of hectic, we have Tricky versus James Bolton in a no disqualifications match.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen James Bolton a whole lot. But he's rising through the ranks just like Barry as well. And Tricky in a no DQ match, I don't know where his crazy mind would take him. So it's going to be interesting seeing how Tricky takes on James Bolton in that one.
I'm sure he's not going to hold back.
We then move on.
He's not going to be a person to hold back on anything, especially with a feud like that.
Exactly, and he's got this crazy mind that just keeps ticking, and he'll find everything and anything around that arena to use as whether you want to call it an advantage or just smarts. When it comes to Tricky, he's a crazy person.
Yeah, he is.
But then we move. We've got a massive matchup when it's Shen will be taking on Robbie Thorpe. Now, Robbie Thorpe's just come off two losses of the national championship, and he's got a point to prove. And Shen's our PCW Slam champion now, so he's got a lot to prove as well. And it's pretty cool seeing these two guys on our big show, because I saw them coming through the ranks of PCW Slam. Like, their first matchups were against each other, and I'm pretty sure they had this best of 3 series that was insane. And to think now that these guys actually have a bit of experience behind them, this match is going to be crazy cool. But then we have our main event matchup, which I did not see coming, by the way. And I don't think Tommy saw it coming either. He'd beaten Robbie Thorpe. He got on the mic. He was talking his talk, and he said, "There's no one left." The lights went out. Boom. There's Wake. He's another talent down at PCW that I think is very overlooked. Wake. He's phenomenal. He finds a way to keep going and going, and does the craziest stuff I've ever seen in my life. And it's him taking on Tommy Hellfire for that PCW National Championship. So
oh man,
that's going to be an absolute banger.
I'm just picturing in my head how many bite marks Tommy's going to have all over his body from Wake. I talked to Murdoch years ago, and I remember him saying, how much does that really hurt? Because like obviously, there's a little bit of theatricals in wrestling, but apparently he really bites hard. So Tommy,
no, wait. Multiple times I've had bite marks over myself from Wake, and yeah, so he's definitely a talent, a talent you watch out for, and his senton splashes is one that you want to miss as well. Like
I'll never forget when he became when he did one. I can't remember if it's off the grandstand or on top of the
that was with myself as well. Yeah, that was me.
Oh, was too. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah, and he just took the wrong step and the board snapped out from underneath him, and man, the guy hit hard concrete.
Yeah,
and got back up and started biting me again.
That man is absolutely insane. I couldn't believe that he got up after that, because if that was me, I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm just gonna stay here. Yeah, just leave me some food.
Yeah. Let's just call the match now. Throw up the X.
I'm done.
And then the last thing I did forget to mention on PCW Risk is there's also going to be the presidential election. So Carl Grove taking on Ruby for the presidential election as well is happening at PCW Risk on the 18th of March.
Who are you voting for, man?
But I'm backing Carl all the way. I think he runs a great workplace down there. He's looking after the talent. He's making sure Lucas Daniels isn't getting in there too soon. So, I'm fully behind Carl Grove in this presidential election.
Fair enough. I've got to vote for Ruby simply because she's backing my boys B Squared and JSA. It's nothing personal, Carl. I just got to support the home side on this one. So I do apologize. Don't my ass.
Yeah. He might just ban you from the next few shows, but that's all right.
Yeah, fair enough. Cass, where can all our listeners and viewers find you on socials?
Yeah, I've got my Instagram is Casstone TC. That's CASSSTONE TC. And then my Facebook page is just Casstone. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Casstone. Yeah, that's all it is there. And they're my two socials you can hit me at.
Well, Casstone, thank you so much for being part of the show. I can't wait to see you again in person. And just can't wait to see what's next for you and for Lucas Daniels, and send my my gratitude to him, and I hope he's feeling better soon.
No, thank you, man. Really appreciate it. And just for anyone who is wanting to become a wrestler, we've got some exciting things happening down at the Wrestling Academy now. And so now's the time more than ever to head over to learntowrestle.com.au and hit that link, like jump on. We've got some really exciting things coming up in plans, and let's help grow the Australian wrestling community and create our own stadium that people can get behind and come overseas to come watch us perform here.
Amen to that.
No, thank you, man. Thank you for everything you do for Australian wrestling as well. You're helping spread the good word of who we have around here. So thank you for doing what you do.
I really appreciate it, man. That's very kind words. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
And that's the end of that episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Want more from What If It's Cool? Make sure to check out the YouTube channel where you can find the latest episodes of Mukbang Around, Reaction, and of course, the Vodcast. And don't forget to follow the show on all socials. It can be found at What If It's Cool. Keep that support coming. And until next time, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.